Hello YouTube. In this video, we'll take a look at the Hello World program. But before we get started, let's introduce what a computer program is. So a computer program or an application is a sequence of statements that tells a computer what to do. A statement is a type of instruction that causes the program to perform some kind of action. In C++, statements are typically grouped into units called functions. And a function is a collection of statements that is executed sequentially. Every C++ program must have a special function called the main function. When a program is run, execution starts with the first statement inside the main function and then continues sequentially. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, please open your favorite IDE or editor. I'm currently using Visual Studio Code as my editor. It's a user-friendly and lightweight editor, that's why I use it. If you're using an IDE, please create a new console application project, or if you're using an editor, just create a new file, call it whatever you want, .cpp. Okay, let's get started. We would like to include some stuff that we will be using inside this project. To do so, we can use the include command. So we pound key include, and we will include the input-output stream library. So this line is a special type of line called preprocessor directive. To understand preprocessor directives, you would have to go to introduce compilation. So C++ is a compiled language, which means a compiler passes through the source code and translates our source code from a higher level programming language into a lower level language to create an executable program. But before that, there's another program called the preprocessor, which runs through the code and does some pre-processing on our source code. And this include command here, include statement, is one of these functions that the preprocessor does. So what it's doing is that it's including all the contents of this library input-output stream, which is a standard C++ library that allows us to read and write text from and to the console into our source code. And then we can use functions from this library here. Okay, then we would leave blank line. It's usually good practice to leave a blank line between the include directives and subsequent part of your programs to make it a little bit more readable. Then we write our main function, int main, and then we open curly braces. So what this line here does is that we write or define the main function, which is the function that is initially executed, and we open curly braces, and everything in between these curly braces is part of the main function and is called the function body. Okay, so we create now the cout object or character out. So to do so, std cout, and then to print we have to use these two less than signs, and then we type our string. So let's say hello world, and we have to add a semicolon at the end. We can use \n to create a new line, or we can use just std and then we use the end l to create a new line and flush the stream. After that, we add a return statement. Some compilers actually do that automatically, but it's good practice to add it. So when a program finishes running, it sends the value back to the operating system in order to indicate whether the program ran successfully or not. So we write return 0, and this return statement mainly returns the value 0 to the operating system, which means everything went fine. Now we save. To run this program here, if you're using an IDE, you can use a button that's build and run, to compile and run your code. If you're using Visual Studio Code, you can use this button here, but you have to define some of the tasks. You can download from the extensions market here some extensions which allow you to run them easily. If not, you can just type on your terminal g++ and then you include the file name helloworld.cpp in my case, and to specify an output name. Usually this would return a.out as an executable name, but if you want a different name, you can use -o and just call it hello world and enter, and now it's compiled. You can see here that it created this hello world executable. To run this executable, we can simply do as such, and you can see here it printed hello world to my terminal. You can use different types of line. Hello world, my name is Noor, for example, and I'll just add a \n here to create a new line, and a semicolon is a must at the end of each statement. And then to show you how it ends up without a \n or without a new line, this is without a new line, and I'm just gonna run it directly from here, and you can see here the hello world on a line, then my name is Noor on another line, and then this is without a new line. You can see it's directly connected here, but that's not an issue. Anyways, I hope you found this tutorial useful, and see you in future lessons. Thank you.